I'm Brenda Charles Edwards, the host of Seniors Matter, and we are here every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on www.rainieravenueradio.world, your South Seattle community radio station. You can also listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, the Rainier Avenue Radio app. We feature interviews with people that provide services or have valuable information for seniors, their families, and of course, the community. Do you need financial documents notarized? Are you a person that needs documents read to you for clarity or completion? Just give me a call, Brenda, at Black Orchid Notary, 206-683-2636. Tell me where, I'll meet you there. Well, my guest today is Alesia Cannady. Geez, you think for all these years I've known I could say it right. Founder, Executive Director of Women United Seattle. Welcome to the show, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Girl, I'm making it. I'm still above ground and I'm doing my best to make it and do the things that are pleasing in his sight.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
You look great. I know it's been a little while since I've seen you, but you always look good, but you look really great today. I love that smile.
Thank you. I cut all my hair off.
Oh, that's what it is. I thought maybe you had just pulled it back, but okay.
No, cut it off.
Okay, you go, girl. Because I remember the days when I used to cut mine really short in the winter time, and my head would freeze. And then people said, "Well, why do you do that?" I said, "I don't know. It just moved, and I did it." So
yeah, I understand.
But anyway, what have you been up to?
Oh gosh, a lot. I've been, as you know, I deal with the grandmothers and basically providing space for them to come out of the isolation and being able to come in the community and do arts and crafts and chair yoga. And, and then we also do Hope's Community Closet, where I provide clothing to the community, men, women, children, babies, all of that. And so I'm always on the go. I'm always moving and shaking.
Yeah. So how did all of this get started? Because I know you're Women United Seattle, but how did you get started in all of this?
Well, I would say that it began back in 1994 when I lived in an apartment complex, and I seemed to be always coming in contact with women that were dealing with domestic violence type things. And I was always there to kind of help them and, with whatever their situation. If they needed beds, I would take them from my house and give them to their kids or whatever it was I could do to help women in situations like that. And what happened was I was going and getting the articles and everything ready so I can kind of jump off with that. And then in 1994, my two nieces, my sister had a brand new baby, 6 weeks old, and they put it in CPS. And so my mom reached out to me and asked if I would go help, which that's all I wanted to do was just help. But what ended up happening, I ended up with the 6-week-old baby and my 7-year-old niece. And so I raised them, and that's how Women United got started. But the thing that really, really was crazy was what I was supposed to do was just supposed to be for 3 months with the girls. And it ended up being over 16 years. And after they got of age, I kind of went back to the to state of Washington, and I told them I had put articles in, but I wasn't able to do anything with it because of the situation with the girls. And lo and behold, the articles were still there. And normally those things get disposed after about, what did they say, like maybe 3 years?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Of not doing anything with it, it get disposed. And I called and they said it was still there. And I provided all the information as to why I was unable to move forward on it. And they reinstated it. And I went ahead with everything I needed to do from there, as far as getting my get the articles done, get my 501c3, and I was able to move forward. But I guess after that, I would say I ended up getting my granddaughter in 2024. 2014.
Yeah, I was gonna say 14. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, okay, Lord, if you're going to have me do this again, you've got to give me something to go with it. So my son had gone in the hospital. I mean, not him, but the girlfriend, and they had the baby. And I retired in 2013. So I was like, I'm in Las Vegas. I'm ready to do my thing. I'm done. I'm going to do me. I'm not worried about nothing else. So I get a phone call right when I'm in Las Vegas, getting ready to go on the strip and do whatever I wanted to do. And my son said, they're not going to release the baby to me. And I was like, oh my God, hey, Mom, will you take him? I said, no, I already did this already. I was just flat out no. And as soon as I hung up that phone, Brenda, as soon as I hung up the phone, the little voice said, you're not going to do that.
Come get me.
You're going to do this. You're going to do this. And man, I'm going to tell you, I decided that I would go on and get my granddaughter, and the struggle that I went through CPS because the mother and the father were on drugs. They thought I was too.
Oh, geez.
They found out different.
I know they did.
They found out different. They got
the drug you were on was the drug of the Lord.
That's right. That's right. And after a while, after they dealt with me, they were telling him, could you please get your mother and the grandmother off of us? So by the time she turned 6 weeks old, the battle was over. And I went down to get that baby. You know, there's much more to that, but I'm just making it short. So I got here and I didn't have anything. I didn't have nothing. And I was scared because I had already raised my nieces. So, you know, that was just a little bit much. I didn't have nothing, not one thing for that baby. And I happened to get on Craigslist, and it just shows you how the Lord worked. And the first call or person I reached out to was a military guy. He had a 1-year-old child, and he was getting ready to leave Washington and go somewhere else. And they had everything that you needed for a baby, from the crib to the rocking chair to the clothes to the bottle washer to, I mean, just everything. And all I had to do was set it all up. He brought it all over, but he heard my story, and it must have touched him, and it touched his wife. And the next day, that truck was at my house with all those things for my granddaughter, whose name is her name is Alesia. And the thing about it, before she even came to the house, I had these little decals that were like Noah's Ark, and I put on the door Alesia Cannady, an angel of hope for children. And what it meant to me was that whatever I gave to that baby, that I was going to give to any other grandmother out there that was doing the same thing that I did, and that I was doing. And here we are. And my home is called the Angel of Hope Engagement Center. She's 11 years old now. She loves to do videography, and we've had our struggles, you know, but just to say that, look how far I've come. So what I provide for the grandmothers now with Women United is, like I said, we have Pepper Pot Support Group. And I named that after my mama because she loved pepper pot soup that was made by Campbell's. And the tag that I put on that is Pepper Pot Support Group. We're grandmothers that add spice to our life. So everything I do is adding spice to these grandmothers' life, whether it's chair yoga, whether it's music magic, where we do like a name that tune type thing, also bingo. And I have Grandma's Hands Arts and Crafts. Grandma's Hands Arts and Crafts, that's where I teach them sewing, beading, how to use a Cricut, how to do t-shirts. They can do clay, you know, it's just some of everything. And
I guess.
Yeah, and they're able to, the things they make, they are able to, when we do bazaars or pop-up shops, they're able to bring the things they make and they're able to sell them. But just that community and bringing them together, that sisterhood where we're all doing the same thing, we're going through the same thing, and just being there for each other. Because my mama didn't have nobody. And I watched her do this all the way up until she passed away. And my nephews were the ones that were still at her house when she passed away. And how she passed the baton was she basically wanted me to go and see about my nieces when they were born, you know, when my niece was born, because she was going blind in one eye. And
Mm.
all I was doing, I was just, said, okay, let me help mom. But guess what my job did? They fired
What?
me. They fired me.
Oh gosh.
So that was just God opening the door.
Ah, isn't that amazing though?
Yeah, yeah.
He,
That was him
you know,
opening the door.
yeah. You just don't know what God has in store for you.
Right.
I'm going to take a quick break. If you're just tuning in, you're listening live to Seniors Matter with your host, Brenda Charles Edwards, on www.rainieravenueradio.world, your community radio station. We're here on Fridays at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you know what's the best legacy we can leave our loved ones and give to ourselves? Join me on Zoom for a group or individual session on legacy end-of-life planning. Now back to my dear friend Alesia. She's a founder, executive director of Women United Seattle. Uh, you know, could you explain a little bit about kinship families? Because I'm sure there's folks out there that really don't know and may not even realize they've been a part of one for a very long time.
Yeah. And yeah, that's a good question. Kinship families have been around for a long time. And a lot of times they think that it's only like grandmothers raising grandchildren. But when you look at me, I was a aunt taking care of my nieces. That's kinship.
Mm-hmm.
I was a sister taking care of my older sister. That's kinship. I was a daughter taking care of my father. That as well as kinship. And now me taking care of my grandchildren. That's all kinship. And it doesn't matter if you're aunt, an uncle, a sibling. If you are taking care of a family member, you're a kinship. And there should be support around that. But there's so many. There are thousands of kinship caregivers and not enough help for us as far as like funding from the state, to be able, the foster system gets a lot of that funding. But as far as kinship caregivers or families and things like that, we don't get that much. I couldn't give you the statistics right now, but it's out there. And so we are basically trying to band together and support each other in any possible way that we can, whether it's doing things for food insecurity, connecting with other organizations to make sure that the kinship caregivers are able to go get some of those things, or being able to take them on excursions to get that respite that they need, or bringing them into community to do a garage sale. Or like I said, I got grandmothers together where we're doing the Hope's Closet. That's bringing them together. They're in isolation and they're just there. And so I'm finding that a lot more are coming out if we have the programs and services for them. But there's lots of grandmothers out there. And we've got different support groups, which is like Catholic Community Service has kinship caregivers. Atlantic Street has kinship caregivers, and Intercultural Family Services supports kinship caregivers. There's quite a few of them out there, organizations. And I guess if you go on the Catholic Community website and you need some services in your area, they are all listed there. But if you're in Skyway, come to me.
I love it. I can relate to what you were saying, because at one point I was a kinship caregiver. I ended up taking my my little niece in, my cousin, sorry, third generation, I believe it was. She was almost 3 years old up until about 12.
Oh,
And that was an experience. And I think I made a difference in her life. She's married now and has some kids of her own. But it's definitely a challenge, and more family are being put in the position of having to become that. You may have your own family, but something happens to a relative, then you've got to step in and help if you can.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I commend you for what you do and what you've started. And I just, you're in my heart. I don't talk to you a lot, but you're in my heart. And I do tell people about you.
I appreciate that.
One of the things I wanted to talk about too, um, you have, you do this thing I think is pretty cool. You get a limousine for some of your people, and they get a queen for the day?
Queen for the day, yes. Yes, queen for the day. I get a limousine. Yeah, I get a limousine, and they get all dressed up fancy, and then we take maybe a 2.5 hour ride just around Seattle. They have gold signs that says queen for a day, and then I make crowns for their head. So they're all wearing these gold crowns, and we just stop at different points. And I had one time where we were at the Bluff, and the people there wanted to know if we were celebrities, and I said, "Yeah, we are. We're grandmothers." Yeah, we celebrities.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they
I love
love
that.
doing that. Yeah. And then the other thing that I do for the grandmothers also is called, which we just did last weekend, and it was caregiver, or last Friday. It was Caregiver Appreciation Day. So I had them all dress up in African attire, and I had my friend saxophone player come and play in the backyard, and we catered from Olive Garden and told grandma stories, not about us, but about the grandmothers in our life, like their mother, or and then it was really, really nice because we had the guy come from World Vision, and he was raised by his grandmother, so he was able to tell his story. Yeah, so it was really good. And I put all my little African artifacts out, and all the women, all of us were dressed in our African clothing.
Oh, that is so cool. I remember my mom worked at Boeing and during the day, and so my grandmother took care of me. And I remember when I was really young, she was a quilter, and I would go play underneath while she's quilting. I'd play underneath like it was a tent, which it kind of was, because quilts hanging down and everything. Yeah. And I just remembered that was just such a special time, even though we weren't playing together, but I was in her presence, and I could talk to her. And then when I was older, she came to our house. Mom would go pick her up every morning, and she would come to the house. And when I came home from school, she was there to greet me.
Yeah.
Until, mom or dad got home, whichever one was first from work. And that was such a wonderful experience. And I'm not sure how long you've been here, but do you remember Yesler Terrace?
The sound's going out.
My sound?
Yeah, it was cutting off. I don't know. It might be me over here. I don't know. But I heard you about your grandmother and the quilt. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember Yesler Terrace?
I do. We lived real close by it.
So my grandmother lived in Yesler Terrace. In fact, we could look out her window and see Mount Rainier. Yeah. And that was just so cool. I mean, it was almost like you felt like you could just reach and touch it. But she was very, very special to me, as most grandmothers are, if we are blessed. And I just, I that's part of why I really appreciate you so much too, because you're helping grandmothers. When I was working at Rainier Beach High School, and parents are working, so their mothers and fathers, the grandparents, would come in if the child was getting in trouble and be that support system. And it's amazing in schools. I won't say it's predominantly, but it's pretty high that it is the grandparent that's coming in to help to make sure that their child stays in school and does the right thing. And it is such a blessing if you have a grandparent. Love on them and just, know that you're blessed.
Exactly.
Can you talk about, there's a couple things that you do I really love. The love train and the fish fry.
Yep.
And then the community Christmas celebration.
Yes.
So could you speak on those? We have about 15 more minutes.
Okay. Well, the fish fry we do every April, every year. And we basically do shrimp poor boys. And I have two of the ladies that are from Louisiana that make those, so they got the roots. And then we also do catfish and cod. And we serve up green beans and potato salad. And you get a pound cake, you get water. And my line, when I do it, the line in my driveway be pretty long. And then we also have it where the person can either eat on site in the yard at the engagement center, or they can pick up their lunches and take them with them. And we try to have everything ready. So when they come pick up, all we got to do is pass them their order. And that's our fundraiser. That's one of our fundraisers. And unfortunately, we didn't get to do it this year because there was a lot of people that passed away in that month. So I don't know. We may end up pulling it up in August or something like that. But at this point, I don't know yet. And then the other thing that we do that you might not know about is, so in September, I'm going to do it by month. In September, we do the Love Train Community Block Party. And we always get somebody that's important in the community to be the conductor of the train. And you have the soul food, the barbecue, everything. You got the works. We dance up and down the street to the OJ's Love Train. And it's all about bringing community. It's all about bringing unity in our community, to get families together, to get people to know each other, to the kids can have a good time in the backyard. We have a mobile, what do you call this? One of those mobile trucks where the kids are trailers, where the kids that are older can go and play video games. And then we have a lot of outdoor games, and they can win prizes. And then we also have a ton of vendors that are out there to be able to enlighten or educate the community of what services and things are available. We have vendors that have clothing. We have King County here that they can, sign people up for medical or boating or whatever the case may be. We have just the whole street is blocked off. So on both sides, there are vendors on both sides. And it's a good time.
You still have the little train for the kids?
The train. We still have the train. We put it on our shoulders and we dance up and down the street to the OJs. And then we have a long line of all the people that are participating in the event to just follow us. Just follow us and just, it's such a fun time. They be into it. And then they want to trade off and go in the train and another group will do it. So, yeah, so that's something that has been going on around here for a little bit over 10 years down here. That is
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, what was that other one? You do, now what month do you do the Winter Wonderland?
That's December.
That's December. Okay.
Yeah. But you want to know what we do in November?
Yes, I do.
We distribute 200 turkeys to the community. That's sponsored by University District Rotary Club.
Oh my gosh, 200?
Yeah, we give out 200 turkeys to the community. So anybody that registers, they can come pick up a turkey, they can pick up a produce bag, and they can pick up some fixings for their meal. And it's all free. Everything we do is free.
And so,
except the fish.
Speaking of it, what's not free?
The fish fry. That's a fundraiser.
Right. So give out your website, since we're talking about that, since that's probably going to be the best way that people sign up, right?
Yeah. My website is, HTT, however you say that word.
Yeah, just but it's www.
Yeah. So it's womenunitedseattle.org. And if you just put that in, it'll come up. And I also have a shop on there now for my Afrocentric bags, onesies, baby bibs, earrings, all that stuff I make. Right. Yeah. And that's all made by grandma's hands.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, my. You've been busy.
I've been busy. Yeah.
Well, we missed you last weekend before last, in Bellevue, at Bellevue College. We missed you. It was a really fun event. And hopefully next year you will be able to attend, and we will also let me know later. Send me an email or text with the dates and times of your future events so I can get that mentioned.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just send you my calendar.
Oh, okay. That's even better.
That way you'll have everything, mostly all the events. You don't have to, do anything as far as the, like grandma's hands or anything like that. But we want people, if you have family members to come out, or grandmothers, or somebody that's isolated, please connect them to me, because I guarantee you they will have a good time and they'll come back.
And she pampers them.
I pamper them. I really pamper them.
And that is a true blessing, because our elders, and I'm not sure where that age begins, but if you know anyone that's over 60 and they live alone, or they may have family, but they don't have a good working relationship with the family, always feel free that you can adopt them, in the sense that if you're going to go somewhere, if you're going to a church event or a movie or something, invite them, because it'll really make a difference in their life, because it shows them that somebody cares, because most likely throughout their life they had been giving to other people or to their own family. So it's the least we can do is to give back, at least in that way. And they can always go to Skyway and get some love.
Yep. Come hang out with us. Yep. Because you know what? And that's what I've had. I've had people say, well, I want my grandmother to join. And so now I got this one lady that she came, and now she's learning how to use a heat press.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Well, my dear, I'm running out of time. I've got about 1 minute left before I have to do my commercial. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to say thank you to Rainier Avenue Radio for broadcasting Hope's Community Closet monthly, or that we do monthly on the fourth Saturday of every month. I want to just give them a shout out and thank you for that. And just be a reminder that the fourth Saturday every month, we're doing Hope's Community Closet. So if you know anybody that needs clothing, shoes, baby things or whatever, of the whole family, we take care of you. So come on out and join us.
Thank you, my dear. And thank you to my listening and viewing audience. A special thank you to MC Class AK Robert D. Bassett Jr. with Delano C. Bass Chester, LLC, for the use of his music, Ragtime. Have a great weekend. Be safe and live your life like it's golden. Bye, Alesia.
Bye.